Okay, well, here we go. That's better. I'm sorry, I'm making noise right now, trying to get a drink going here. Alright, well, I don't know if anyone's going to hop in here, but if anyone hops in here, it's going to be something special. I don't blame any Sabres fans for not coming, considering this game has nothing to do with the Sabres, but... And it's also at a weird time. Like, 5 p.m. is kind of tough. People are still, like, coming home from work and doing things with their families. I didn't realize just how injured the Panthers are. I don't think it's going to matter very much in the long run. I think they'll be just fine, but you never really know how injuries are going to play out. I mean, Sabres are dealing with it too. There's just a lot of injuries going on for a lot of teams. But I didn't really follow too many other teams that closely in the preseason because I was so focused on all the Sabres content. So this is really the first time I've done any kind of deep interaction outside. It will be really interesting to see if Connor Bedard actually steps it up this year. I think it's a really critical year for him, considering all the issues they've had kind of with his development stalling out. I can't expect very much tonight, though. I mean, come on. It's always tough to have your first game. Oh, hey. Welcome. You're the first person in one of my streams, so congratulations for that distinction, Mossy. Good to see you. How's it going? Bedard's a good kid. I think he's gonna turn it around. I don't really know. I don't really know what I'm talking about outside Sabres stuff, honestly. My knowledge is not that wide. Still working on the gear situation here. I don't really have all that much stuff at the moment. A lot of my stuff has ended up in storage, all my like hockey stuff. So it's this is a process to get it all out of storage. Still trying to play with all this stuff here. I know there's a delay. I just don't know how much the delay is. Green hoodie's my go-to. Gotta love the green hoodie. The green hoodie is, well, I'm a Packers fan, so I have to have a green hoodie all the time. You know, it's a Packers hoodie. It's not. Sometimes you see it. Yeah, go Pack, go. I have a thing for small market teams, if you can't tell. Well, the Packers aren't really an underdog story in the same way Buffalo is, so it's a little bit different. But, you know, I knew that all these games are delayed starts, and I know that this is going to be worse than usual, but... Oh, it's a long... Every one of my teams is a long story. So I'm from Maryland. My dad is a Packers fan, so that rubbed off on me. The Sabres thing is really strange because we were Hershey Bears fans. So we always went to Hershey Bears games. We had Hershey Bears season tickets and everything. Do you know Frederick? Crofton, okay. Yeah, I know Crofton. No, I'm from Frederick originally. I don't live on the East Coast anymore, but originally from Frederick. So yeah, anyway, we were Bears season ticket holders. That's crazy. We're Bears season ticket holders, so we followed their affiliates. At first it was Colorado, and so that was fine. No problem with Colorado, but you know, in baseball I'm an Orioles fan. So at the same time, like the Bears changed their affiliate to the Capitals. The Nationals came to DC, right? Can't root for DC sports teams. So I was like, I need a team. I was in junior high school, so I'm like, Sabres have cool jerseys. I like the goat head stuff, and they were pretty good at that time. That's when they were making their like Eastern Conference Finals. So I was just like, okay, I'm on board with the Sabres, and it just stuck. The Packers is totally family thing, and the Orioles is totally just I'm from Maryland, so that's like my hometown team. So that's my rooting situation. It's a mess of teams. Sorry, really didn't get enough to drink today, so I'm trying to get my green tea in. What about you, Mossy? How do you line up as far as teams? Is it all Buffalo, or are you across the board? Like, I totally get all in one city. Like, that's a great way to be, but like for me, it's all over the place. I don't know why I never ended up with the Ravens, but I guess just family pressure. There was a time I was going through like an identity crisis. Wow. So your whole time as a fan, that's the see, that's this is why Sabres fans are the best, because even though it's been a really rough ride for us here, we stick with it. That's so amazing. Like from Maryland, but totally Sabres. That's awesome. But I hope you get to see a playoff game at some point here. I don't know when it's gonna be, but I hope you get to see it. Hopefully this year. I'm gonna try to be positive, and we're gonna say it's gonna be this year. The injuries have got me kind of down, but maybe we have a shot this year. I don't know. But that's awesome. All Buffalo. Like it hasn't been easy. Even the Bills weren't that good for a long time. They've been good the last like 6 or 7 years, but yeah, that's wild. But points to you for loyalty. It's not always easy. Yeah, man, he's that's one of the reasons too. I was like able to stick with the Sabres is Rick Jeanneret because he's just awesome. So when we got NHL Network for the first time, they would do like old Sabres games and stuff. They do like because they'd sometimes show retro games. Just listening to him, especially the older games, was really good. But he was good. Even he managed to make it exciting, even when the Sabres weren't good. He made it exciting. So yeah, he's sorely missed. There's no one who can do quite what he did. So I realize I know very little about these two teams. Yeah, he was a good guy for kind of learning the game. So it's probably good, you know, to have a guy like that. And with growing up with the Hershey Bears, I had to listen to the radio a lot because like before when I was like a kid, we didn't have like the AHL live streams and stuff, so we just listened to like whatever radio we could get. So like Dave Michigan and then John Walton were the guys I grew up listening to. Because again, it was always Bears until they needed a new affiliate. So I kind of joined the Sabres a little bit later in my life. I guess I was like junior high school, so I would have been like 13 or 12 or 13. So my formative years were listening to like Dave Michigan for the Bears and then John Walton. Take as much time as you need for this, Florida. Enjoy it. I'm 31 now. 31? Yeah, 31. Next month, 32. So, I guess I have, when I was in, the last time they made the playoffs, what I would have been, I was in high school. So, but again, at that time, nobody thinks, oh, that's going to be the last time you see them make the playoffs. You think, oh, they're going to get back there. Even if they're not very good, you think they're going to get back there in a year or two or something. You don't imagine it's going to be 14 or 15 years of them missing. But I hope we can get you a playoff series. Playoff hockey, there's nothing like playoff hockey. So, I think Ristolainen was a really good player. I just think he got, unfortunately, saddled on a lot of not very good teams, so never really able to show his full ability or potential, unfortunately. He was really good at that. As far as like the offensive side of his game, he could really pile up the assists, so I always enjoyed watching him. But I'm a goalie guy. I've always been a goalie guy, so almost all of my jerseys and favorite players are always goalies. And especially the Sabres have a really good pedigree and history of goaltending, so that's where I focus. My favorite Sabres player right now? That's actually a really, really tough question. I gotta be honest, right? We just signed him, but I'm on the Doan train 100%. I should probably like a guy who's been here longer, but I was so excited when they got Doan. Not just because of his pedigree, but because that's the style of play. I like those third line, grindy, penalty killing, can occasionally get into a scrap guys. Those are always my favorite types of players. I think the Sabres have been sorely lacking with those guys. So like Doan and Danforth, the two offseason guys, really like them. Probably before that, see, I love Dahlin, but like, I get frustrated with offensive defensemen a lot because they don't play defense very much. He's pretty dang good though. I do like Dahlin a lot, but no, I'm on the Doan and Danforth train this year. No, he really causes problems. Does Doan? People don't know how to handle him, and I think he's going to generate a lot of offensive zone turnovers this year. And I think it's going to lead to a lot of goals. That's going to be a fun. I'm excited to see what he can do this year. I think he will get some opportunities, maybe on a higher line at some point. But I'm impressed he made the third line, because coming into camp, a lot of publications were like he might not even make the roster, which I was just like, there's no way he doesn't make this team. So, but I can understand it. He wasn't used to great effectiveness in Utah, and a lot of people think he was only there in that organization in the first place because of his dad. So, but he's genuinely a decent player. I think we'll see it this year. Well, we're not too late right now. It's only 6:18, or it's only 5:18, so we're not too late right now. This is one thing I can't stand about. I understand this is different, but One thing I can't stand about NHL games is they always list the start time, and then the actual start time is like 20 minutes after the listed start time. It always happens. This is understandable because they just won the cup, but still. How do I feel about Owen Power having less than 100 hits in his career? How do I feel about Owen Power? How does any Sabres fan feel about Owen Power other than disappointed? With his size, right? He should be able to leverage his size. I don't know why he doesn't. It's either he wasn't ever made to. I think it's because he didn't really play in the minors, so he never really had to leverage his size. And then he's in the NHL where everyone's going to kill you, so you don't know how to hit. I don't think he ever really learned how to use his size. I think if he'd spent some time in the AHL, he might have actually learned. But the bag was in the river after he played in the NHL. So they're not going to send a number 1 overall pick back down. You're just going to cause controversy by doing that. So honestly, he's such a disappointment. I in my heart, I hope he can turn it around for his sake. You never want to just like put a guy out to pasture, but we better hope we can fix him. Kesselring hopefully will provide him some stability when they're both back, but yeah, it's not great. Who's your favorite current Sabre, Mossy? Spencer Knight getting the start for the Blackhawks. Of course, Bob Broski on the other side. He's outstanding. This is a miss. You know, I love how on opening night they do tend to give the team that won the cup some sort of like cakewalk game, which I mean you should. You should get a nice little flat win your first game after you win the cup. Dahlin's the biggest thing with Dahlin is he's just in the he doesn't get any media attention because he plays where he plays. If he was on a Canadian team, or if he was on a team that was more competitive or a larger market, like if he was on the Rangers, for example, he'd get more play. But yeah, being on the Sabres, and it's very tough to become a superstar when you play for a team that nobody really watches and is currently just the butt of the league in terms of the way the media covers the Sabres, which is, it's just basically it's just disdain. I actually gotta edit this here because it's the first period now, so I gotta do my job. Okay, my job is done. Let me see here. I gotta minimize this. I'm still getting used to all this interface stuff here. I'm having some trouble with all this technology. So obviously everything here is going to be very delayed in terms of my reactions. So just the way it's going to go. But yeah, Dahlin's outstanding. No, I don't want... Okay, there we go. All right. Haven't really seen much of the game yet because I got too engrossed in my my stream buttons there. There's a lot to look at here. Yeah, the Barkov injury really tough for the Panthers. We think we're dealing with injuries in Buffalo. The Panthers are really dealing with injuries. I don't feel too bad for them because they're the Panthers, but still. But yeah, this is tough. Anytime you have to open up against a team that just won the cup on the road, you're very young, you're still not a very good or developed team. If you're Chicago, you just want to survive the first 5 or 10 minutes, and then push on from there and try to get a goal and make life difficult for Florida. Sorry, Mossy, I don't understand. What's the game on? I don't understand that particular. Like, do you mean where in the game are we, or? I guarantee I'm behind wherever you are at this point. Or where's the game on in terms of like the network? I don't know. Giving Knight the early work here. Knight looks pretty strong in the early going because they're just giving him easy shots, which, you know, that's a good way to get a foothold in the game. Okay. I'm sure I'm behind what's actually happening in the real world, but it's nothing about 2 minutes in for me right now. So Florida's basically had all the zone time. They got some shots on Knight. Knight stopped everything. Nothing, no real good scoring chances yet for either side. The Blackhawks brought it down, got a shot, but it went out of play. So nothing really too exciting. The Blackhawks have a face-off now. And pass across leads to nothing. Try to get a little bit of a forecheck down low. It's going to be tough for them physically. They just look so undersized. They got a shot, Bobrovsky, but... Oh, he's screened. Is he interfered with? What is going on? Lost his balance? I don't know. It's a chaotic zone time there for the Blackhawks. Yeah, not much happening so far in terms of this game. They're just teams trying to feel each other out. Looks like a first game of the season through the first 3 minutes here. And another stoppage. So it'll be interesting to see if anything changes for the Blackhawks this year with new coach and everything. I think they just have a talent deficiency at the moment. Anytime you're having to play like Burakovsky on your first line, you do not have enough players. And I love Burakovsky. He was a Hershey Bear, so you know I'm a big fan. But man is not a top line player. Shot it. Oh, that almost got through, but Bobrovsky was able to save it. Blackhawks got some good traffic in front, but they are not able to recycle the puck. It goes all the way back, and they reset. Oh, turnover center ice there. Panthers not able to move it forward right away, and just some more ugly center ice back and forth stuff. Shots are 2-1 Florida. Florida tries to move it in the offensive zone. Marchand was blocked. And then a shot came in, saved by Knight. But the Panthers' chances right now are all from range. They haven't been able to get anything in close, and no one's been able to get through the neutral zone cleanly yet whatsoever. Oh, Bedard did hit the crossbar earlier. That's something. They always hype players up after they get injured. Like, that's... When someone's healthy, they don't really tend to talk about him. But after someone's hurt, or if someone's like about to be like moved or traded or in a contract dispute, they suddenly become like the best player of all time. That's something the media loves to do because it kind of lets them get some... Well, 2-on-1 here for the Panthers. And Knight makes a good save. Wow. That was really the first dangerous chance of the game, and Knight was really up for it. But yeah, Blackhawks being the Blackhawks right now. But yeah, if someone gets hurt, they automatically become a good player. Oh, what was that? Caught in the bad line change. And Panthers generated a chance, but not able to really hit anything on it. Blackhawks, oh no. Turned it over in front of their net. Really good chances for the Panthers there. So, Panthers look like they're starting to turn it up a little bit. Blackhawks still look sloppy. Not what you want to be doing in the first 5 minutes is coughing it up in your own zone in front of the net, doing those ugly sorts of things. Oof. And I think, like, for the Panthers, they have good players. Of course, you have to have good players to do what they've done, but a lot of their advantages are they play a system and they know their system really, really well. And every one of their players contributes to that system. Like, it's not, they do, of course, have a ton of talent, but their system is probably the main reason they win, and the fact they have players so suited to it. Obviously playing, and the media spent a lot of time talking about like how Florida has a massive advantage because of the way the taxes are down there and compared to other states or compared to Canada, and I really think that's just a narrative that especially the Canadian media has kind of latched on to. No one was saying these things when, like, maybe they were just because the U.S. dollar is stronger than the Canadian dollar, but no one was saying these things when like the Blackhawks were a dynasty. Because Illinois doesn't have like that great of a like tax system, but when the Blackhawks were doing their stuff, no one was saying that it's because of the tax policy in Chicago. Like, just people don't want to see Florida being good at hockey, I think. So, but now the Blackhawks are going to have to do a bit more than what they're doing so far. They want to stay in this game. I think as it stands right now, the Panthers score one. It's going to maybe open up the floodgates a little bit. But so far it's 0-0. We're at commercial now. So as long as you don't give up a goal, you have a shot. Yeah, especially because you know when they're bad, like nobody goes to their games. I'm sure their fan base down there that is very good. I don't want to disparage other fan bases, but like if you put Florida in the Sabres situation and you said Florida misses the playoffs for 14 years, because I kind of were in that situation a long time ago, like there's going to be nobody at their games. At least Sabres fans, for the most part, still show up despite all the frustration. Yeah. It happens. Everything goes in cycles. I wasn't alive, but like my dad, being a Packers fan, talks about the 70s and 80s. The Packers were disastrous for 20 years there. They made the playoffs one time in like that stretch, one or two times in that stretch. Like 20-year stretch, maybe two playoff appearances from the time Lombardi left to the time Favre got there. They're a joke. They were a joke. And now, they're basically in the playoffs every year, so you never know. Like, stuff can turn around. you never know when a dynasty is going to kick off or when a dynasty is going to end. That's part of the stuff we have with sports. But I do think the Sabres are really in a really tipping point this year. Oh, I like the Bills. I like the Bills a lot. They're not, obviously I'm a Packers fan. They're not my favorite team, but I've always had a soft spot for the Bills. Obviously, also being a Sabres fan, it's kind of nice. But I think no city in the NFL deserves a Super Bowl more than Buffalo because of all the stuff that Buffalo fans have been through with obviously, I don't want to bring it all up, but the 4 Super Bowls, kind of tough to lose those all in a row, and the recent playoff heartbreak. And no, I definitely pull for the Bills more than almost any other AFC team. So it's easier to root for them because they're in the AFC too. Like, there's not so much conflict of interest. So, but that loss to the Patriots kind of tough there. Oh, Allen's great. I think Allen's the best quarterback in the league right now. But he makes bad decisions too. Like that interception against the Patriots, really frustrating. But like, no, Allen has the mix of passing and throwing. And I think he really, right now, I think he's the best in terms of decision making, in terms of passing, in terms of running. I think he has the best mix of all the quarterbacks. Mahomes has taken a step back. Lamar Jackson, for whatever reason, can't get it done in the big moments. So it's really just, I think Allen's the best. You know, obviously, he reminds me of a better version of Jordan Love, being a Packers fan, right? Allen's like the level I would like Jordan Love to get to. But no, Josh Allen's really good. You can be very happy with the quarterback. Honestly, this year I'm more worried about you guys' defense. I'm at 12. Yeah, I'm quite behind you. I'm at 12:35 right now. By the time you get this, because there's a little bit of delay on the stream, I'm probably about a minute behind you. Like the Panthers for me have just started this power play. About a minute 20 into this power play. Oof, good chance there, man. See, this is where Chicago needs to figure out a way to hold on. They need to figure out a way to kill this. And then if they can try to get a foothold, get a goal, they might be able to get a foothold in this game. So I just hit, it's 11:55 now. So you don't feel the need to be synced up with me, but I appreciate that if you are. Like, I'm not so worried about spoilers in this case. For the Sabres games, if you want a genuine reaction, we're gonna have to be considerate of that. But like in this game, in this case, it's not a big deal. Oh man, it's just watching the Panthers. Well, I just jinxed it. I was about to say watching the Panthers pass on this power play is so nice, but then they just throw it away. I like watching good power plays move the puck. But this is gonna end up a nice kill for the Blackhawks here as the Panthers ice it. Only 5 seconds left. So Spencer Knight's been doing a pretty solid job so far. Panthers have generated a number of chances, but Knight's been able to stand up to it. And also, I got to say, the Blackhawks have done a nice job defensively, not allowing too many secondary chances. It's really been their forward play that has let them down so far. Yeah, I agree. I think Lyon's going to be good. I just think the rebound control in the preseason was really shocking to me. But I saw him a bit in Detroit last year, but I thought he was fine. Like, just fine. Alex Lyon is fine. And he's a great, I think that the stats back him as one of the top backups in the league, but as a starter, it's a little more uncomfortable. By the way, I heard that Gorgiev is apparently being placed on waivers today. They're really all in on Colton Ellis in Buffalo. So I'm not unhappy about that, and I'm really excited for Colton Ellis. He really deserves this shot. So now, granted, I just saw that off. Yeah, goalies are fun. I like goalies. Goalies are really interested to think about and talk about. Not, for me, with Gorgiev, I think it's 100%. Oh, yeah, he was that particular play, he was way too far out. I think Gorgiev is really in a bad place mentally right now. Like, I remember when he played for the Rangers and he was backing up, he seemed like kind of a loose cannon. There was that one game where he just like freaked out. He did that a couple times. I don't know why. Uh-oh. Breakaway here for the Blackhawks. And they score! Wow! Talking about getting a foothold in this game. Holy cow. Didn't see that coming. That's out of nowhere. That's awesome. Good job, Chicago. But that was awesome. So who's that? Nizar. That's outstanding. That's great. Good job, Chicago. I'm excited for them now. That's good. That's what you want. You want to come out here and you want to get a goal. That's fantastic. Frank Nizar. 7-year, 461. That's actually not a bad contract, too. Well, that's exciting. You know, hopefully our first goal of the season's by one of the guys we brought in. That'll make everyone feel excited. We'll see. I'm already nervous for the first Sabres game. I'm already feeling the nerves now. Now that someone scored, the season feels like it's actually started. But yeah, that's an exciting way to start the year. Give a little adversity to the Panthers, too, and get the crowd out of the game. That's... Oh, no, 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 no. That wasn't great. Well, you go from good first goal there for the Blackhawks to giving up that goal. Yikes. That didn't take long. That did not take long at all. What happened here exactly? So where the shot in, just big rebound, and that was a nice play to kind of push it forward. Yeah, and then Greer's right there and gets it through Knight. It's what happens when you give up, sometimes you give up those, especially the way our defense is. Like, I don't trust our defense at all in the opener, though, as thin as we are. Hopefully the Rangers don't hem us in this badly. I'd like to think we can get out and play a more even game than it's been this period. But that's why I worry about rebound control, because you give up a big rebound, and especially when you don't have defensemen who are that adept at winning puck battles and getting control of the puck in neutral ice, it becomes problematic. And that's kind of what happened there. He gave it the big rebound. Shouldn't have been an issue too much, but the defender couldn't control it. They played it on, and that's a goal. Oh, Knight did not see that one coming. Good thing they missed the net. Yeah, now this is where the Blackhawks are going to have to stand up a little bit. How's Quinn going to do this year? Well, there's what I hope he'll do, and then there's what I think will probably happen. Is that a penalty on the Yeah, penalty on the Blackhawks. I think, I hope he's going to live up to his potential and score 20 goals. If he can develop a connection with Doan, I think there's a possibility. But I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, I don't have a good answer because I think he can do it. I just think he hasn't put it all together yet. And I don't know if he's going to put it all together at the NHL level. But it's too late in his development cycle to retrain him. But I tell you, if he doesn't put it together this year, we have to seriously consider that he might never put it together. Like, there's a lot of Sabres where I feel like this season, there's a lot with our team this year where I think this season is the knife's edge, where if people don't do what they need to do this season, there's going to be really big changes. And I think we're going to be looking at another rebuild. And I don't want to say that because I'm tired of rebuilding, and Quinn represents that. Like, if he doesn't put it together this year, I don't think he's going to put it together. Like, you start to lose hope in some of these guys. And I tend to be one of the more patient people out there, I think, with them. But, yeah. He can be a 20-goal scorer. I really honestly believe he can be a consistent 20-goal scorer. But he has to do it at some point. But as long as he plays the role that they have for him, then I don't have a big issue. Yeah, that's the concern, right? You have to be able to score goals in different ways. That is a great. He does have a great shot, though. I mean, if I was a hockey player and I had that kind of shot, I would want to overuse it too. But I hope maybe playing with different people. You know, playing with, like, I think Doan actually complements him because I think Doan's going to generate chances for him. But maybe sometimes playing with different people inspires you to do different things. And I think it could be a big benefit to him. Again, I think Doan's going to do a lot of things to help this team. So, and one of those things could be he helps to reignite Quinn. But we gotta, something has to change, obviously. But again, it because of lack of development. He needed more time in the AHL than what he got. He was so good his 1 year, they've just brought him up. Oh, another bad turnover. But way to stay with it there. Wow. Spencer Knight has done some impressive things in this game so far. Not losing sight of that puck was really impressive. But you cannot be turning the puck over like that. Like, just a reckless clear to try to get it out of the zone. Oh dear. Dangerous chance. Blackhawks cannot get the puck whatsoever. I mean, I don't know what we're expecting out of the Blackhawks, and they're not doing themselves any favors with the penalties and the turnovers in their own zone. And there was a good block and a good clear. I still say the Blackhawks get out of this period 1-1. That's a massive win because coming in, you just want to survive this opening period with the crowd, and you just hung the banner and you have the cup. And oh dear. Well, oh yeah, that's terrible. I hope the Sabres can do a little bit better than this in 2 days. I hope we don't look this ragged. Just, I don't know. Like, 2 guys get sucked in down low. There's nobody there. The defenseman can't do anything. Like Rinzel can't do anything because he has to cover both sides of the net. You just both can't go to the corner there if you're not going to be in time to engage or tie up. And yeah, it's tough. They're just outmanned. You know, Chicago's a team that is in very great danger of becoming rather like the Sabres in the sense that their rebuild has really stalled out. They got Bedard, but since then, what have they done? It's one thing to get all these high draft picks, but if you don't do anything with them, if you can't actually turn them into top tier players, if you can't actually develop them properly, then you're not going to end up anywhere, and your rebuild's going to stall out, and you're going to not be competitive for a very long time. And it's perhaps harsh to judge the Blackhawks off one period in a very difficult situation against the defending Cup champ, but this doesn't look any different than last year. This looks exactly the same as any Blackhawks game you watched last year, just getting outworked and look totally overmatched. And you want to see them acquit themselves perhaps a little better in this first period than what they're doing. Now, granted, it's early, of course. There's a long way to go. But these turnovers, you cannot have these. You cannot have this. You cannot be outworked on the boards, and you cannot have these turnovers, and you cannot let them skate in that deep. There's just no. They're playing so back. Oh, that looked like an elbow. They're playing so backed up right now, are the Blackhawks. They got to just try to settle it down. They look really, really unsettled. It's really, really ugly right now. They can't even complete a pass to get it out of their zone. I mean, all credit to the Panthers for pressing the way that they are, but this is something you can get out of if you just good save there by Knight to kind of calm things down. Really rough sequence here. I'd say in the last 5 minutes, the Blackhawks have looked like a really bad team. But if this is the media, is this the media timeout? They'll get a chance to regroup a little bit here. Yeah, so they get the third media timeout and take a breath, Chicago. You're still in this game. You're just getting worked right now. So we're going to keep trying to get this game right here. This just makes me want to watch the Sabres, honestly. I knew this was going to happen. I was going to watch this game and I was going to be like, I just want to watch the Sabres. Oh, this is interesting. They're just straight interviewing the players now. I don't know how I feel about that. Just straight up interviewing the players during the games. Like, I can't hear what they're saying because I have it muted, but like, I don't like it. I get interviewing coaches and assistant coaches, but don't love interviewing players. It's like when MLB does that stuff, when they interview like the shortstop or the fielder during the game on like Sunday Night Baseball. I absolutely hate that. Because, like, they don't have usually so much interesting to say. They're trying to focus on the game. Oh, here we go. Kind of breakaway. Well, couldn't quite get it done. Good save, Spencer Knight. Good defense. There's a quasi breakaway there. Nothing came of it. Florida's going to go out of this period if they don't score again feeling like they should add a lot more than what they've ended up with. Yeah, that was impressive. He was going down, and, well, it's Marchand. Marchand is absolutely incredible. One of the best players in the league in terms of just doing what he does. When Florida got him last year, I was like, yep, they're going to win the cup. That's basically how I felt. Yeah, that's true. He does have that Benson does have a similar kind of work ethic. If he could just add some of that Marchand like level of skill, then we'd be good. Benson, I have hope he'll figure it out. I know a lot of people are maybe down on him because of his size, but yeah, work ethic does count for a lot. Yeah. Speed and size, skating, all that. But his stick skills are really impressive, Benson. So that counts for something. Gosh, I remember watching. This is gonna date me, but I remember watching Marchand when he was playing for the Providence Bruins when they'd come to Hershey, and we had a guy in our section who would just chirp at him the whole game, saying like, "You're useless. You're never gonna be anything. You're terrible." We had a really aggressive section, and every time I see Marchand, I just think about those. Oh, fight! That's not a bad fight if you're the Blackhawks trying to get things going. Let's see if Foligno can get... Yeah, he got unlocked there. I always worry when they have these fights, someone's just going to break their hand. It happens way too more than it should. Or cut themselves on the visor. Oh, that was good. Yeah. I think he's going to... Foligno, I think, is going to get this. Yeah, that's a good fight. That was a really good fight. Nice draw. But yeah, when I think of Marchand, I always think of that guy in Hershey chirping him. We had no idea what he was going to turn into. But yeah, that's a good fight. If you're the Blackhawks there, that's a good fight. You want to try to get out of this period with a bit of momentum. You want to keep it to 2-1, but you also want to get some momentum on your side. You're not out of this game. It might feel like you've gotten your face kicked in, but you're only losing by a goal, even though you've given up 13, even though you're down in the shots by 13. That doesn't matter. All that matters is the scoreboard. What a world where six major penalties makes you the most penalized, gets you the most major penalties on your team. The game has changed a lot. I can't even imagine. I mean, I imagine, obviously I know Benson's going to be able to do that, but just from a size perspective, that should never happen. But that's what you count on. When you have effort and you're playing against a guy who's not a super high engine, high effort guy, you can make things happen. No, I really think Benson can turn it around. I think Norris is going to really unlock a lot of things for Benson if he can stay healthy. That's my one hope. I think that might be the thing that unlocks his offensive potential. Oh, no, you can't turn it over. You just can't turn it over like that. There's no reason. That's a good hit, but there's no reason to turn it over. We could get. Who could we get? Honestly, I'm not even thinking about like acquisitions at this point. I'm trying to think like I'm more trying to think archetype than actual player, right? Like think about let's think, if we think about our top 6, what do we have and what are we missing? So we have on the top line we have a pure scorer in Thompson. We have another basically scorer in Tuck. So on our top 2 lines we have 2 guys who are going to score goals. Maybe there's not enough physicality on the second line, so you would want a guy who can hit and score. It's going to sound weird, but I'm pretty satisfied with our top 6 depending on, oh gosh. I don't really have a specific player in my mind who I'm like, that's a guy the Sabres need to go get, though. Do you have someone? Do you have a specific player who you think would fit there? God, they're gonna rue that goalpost if they cannot get something here by the end of the period. Down to only 10 seconds thereabouts. So, Blackhawks just keep turning it over in the zone. They cannot get control of the puck. Oh, Chicago, thank your lucky stars. It's only a 1-goal game right now. Woo. It gives me hope, though, that they can kind of rejuvenate themselves, come out and steal another goal. I think, wow. Well, that's a way to start the season. Colton Ellis going to save the day. No, I agree with you. They gotta fix the goaltending situation. Gosh, but there's no way to fix it right now because okay, if you put Georgiev's probably gone. He's on waivers. Maybe he gets into Rochester to be the backup. Maybe he doesn't. Right. So I don't know who's going to claim him at this point. Maybe somebody claims him. I don't know. But let's say he gets into Rochester. He's the backup. So you have Lyon and you have Ellis. That could be fine. Start the year. But they've pinned all their hopes on Devon Levi. Like, for next year. They are really hoping he's going to be the guy. But yeah, UPL I think he's going to be on the shelf for a while. And even if he comes back, I think he's going to be at super high risk of injuring himself. And even if he comes back, he might not be that great. The Sabres really fell into the trap with UPL. He had that one good year. They signed him to a big contract, and then they're kind of stuck with him. So, and then Levi didn't develop as quickly as they wanted because they threw him into the NHL too quickly. So, yeah, they've really botched the goaltending situation. At some point, I think you might just be better off cutting your losses, spending money on a high-end free agent in the offseason, and then just drafting a goalie and just starting over from zero in terms of trying to develop goalies. Just go get 2 veterans, one who can start, one who can back up, spend the money. But, of course, that would require the Sabres to spend money, which they really don't really have an appetite to do. I think that's the only way you can fix it long term. I don't know how you fix it in the short term. I think this year we're kind of cooked from a goaltending perspective. But Lyons never had the chance to be a starter, so maybe he steps up and he does better than we expect. I mean, Colton Ellis was a top AHL goalie last year. He was top what, I think he was he was maybe number 4 in save percentage. He was better in terms of save percentage than Levi was. So it's just another way to protect Levi. We realize we cannot play Georgiev as a NHL player this year, so Ellis at least gives us the chance to protect Levi while also seeing, hey, maybe we find this guy randomly off waivers. So I don't hate that move, but yeah, the goaltending is a mess right now. Yeah, we do not have a mid starter even right now. Because, like, Lions statistics, advanced statistics, all have him as, like, the 33rd goaltender, which means he's not even a mid starter. He's like a bottom tier starter. It's not bad, but if he can raise his game just to become average, I think we can probably survive. My concern is the way this is starting, right? So we have all these injuries to our defense, which means that we could get off to a really difficult start. And then in like December, we have this massive road trip where we play like 10 of 12 on the road or something ridiculous like that. And so if we don't get off to a good start, we could be in a really difficult spot where we need to do really well on that road trip. And it could get bad. Like we could be in the same spot we were last year if we have a bad losing streak on that road trip and then just get ourselves too far out where we can't find a way to come back at all. So it's absolutely critical that we have a better start than we did last year. Like last year, I think we started like 1-4-1. I might be wrong, but we didn't do very well at the beginning. We have got to find a way to start the year well. I'm going to try to pull up. I don't actually know our initial schedule off the top of my head, so I'm going to try to pull that up and we can think about it a little bit. Obviously, the Rangers and the Bruins and Colorado, but after that, it's kind of all blank. I think Ottawa's in there as well. Yeah, it's not an easy start to the year. It's the Rangers, Bruins, Avalanche, Senators, Panthers, Canadiens, Red Wings, Leafs, Jackets, Bruins. That is not a fun start. And then November's a little bit softer. And then in December, you get the massive road situation, which continues on until January. So it's really a brutal schedule. The schedule makers did not do the Sabres any favors this year. They basically set us up to have our typical awful stretch at some point, either at the beginning or on that road trip. So as far as the Sabres making the playoffs and all of that, I'm not going to, I can't say anything until we are in contention after January or in the middle of January. I'll be able to say, okay, this team has a shot or not. Because there's just too many roadblocks until we get to January. There's too many places where we could go south quick. So, schedule makers have not done Buffalo any favors this year. So hopefully they can pull it around, though. So I'm getting myself more tea. Just 1 second. I don't know. That's the real question. The Canadiens and Senators, how they're going to do. Because how they do is going to directly affect how realistic our playoff chances are. I think the Canadiens were not... I don't believe in them, honestly. I think last year was they really overachieved. I think the Senators are more likely to be real and to be difficult. But I think the Canadiens were kind of a flash in the pan. So I don't really. I think if there's one team we can get past, it's them. But I worry a lot about the Senators. Yeah. Yeah, the way it's done with the divisions, our division is absolutely brutal. The Atlantic is just not a fun place. If we were in the Met, I'd feel much, much better about our chances. But yeah, no, our division is rough. When you look at it, you're like, who are we better than? Well, we should be better than Boston, obviously, and we're probably better than Detroit. But it's really a question of can we get past Montreal and Ottawa? Because Toronto, Tampa Bay, and Florida, we're not going to. It's very tough to say we're going to get past any of them. Like, they're clearly on a tier above us. So it does come down to Ottawa and Montreal. So I'd say, optimistically, I'd say we can finish better than Montreal. I don't know if we can be better than Ottawa. And then we're just going to have to hope from there that the Met teams don't have a lot of strong. See, the other thing I worry about too is that fourth team in the Met, if they're actually good, there's going to be a lot of point inflation down there because the teams at the bottom of the Met are bad. So teams at the bottom of the Atlantic are bad too, but like the Flyers are bad. Pittsburgh is not very good. The Islanders are probably not going to be very good. So whoever, and maybe Columbus. I mean, Columbus was playing with a lot of emotion last year. Did they get that much better? I don't know. So that number 4 team in the Met could have a lot of points because there's a big gap between the top 4 and the bottom 4. Whereas in the Atlantic, there's 3 teams that are really good. And then there's everyone else, but the middle is really tough. Like, so Buffalo, Montreal, Ottawa, and even Detroit are kind of on the same playing level. So there could be a lot of point deflation. So it could be really hard to get that last wildcard spot just because of that. But I think, and I'm going to have a video probably the day of the opener. I'll have a video with my projection coming out. But right now I'm thinking we're probably 5th in the division, and we're just going to have to try to get that 8th wildcard spot. And that's not a pretty place to, that second wildcard spot, that 8th playoff spot, that's not a pretty place to be. And that's optimistically. Like, I don't know if we're better than Montreal. We have the potential to be better. We have the potential to easily be the 4th team in the division, but I don't know if we're going to put it all together this year. There's a lot of questions. Like, ceiling is probably 4th in the division, and floor is probably last in the division. I'd probably say 7th in the division. I wonder how the Blackhawks are going to come out here. I hope they come out better, obviously. Panthers do not look like a team that's resting on their laurels, though. They look like a team that's ready to come out and defend the cup, so. Looks like we have about 5 minutes to go until we come back to action here. I also don't love that we're the Rangers' second game, that they already get to play one game before they play us. There's an even number of teams in the league, right? Why can't we just match everyone up so that everyone is everyone's first game? I don't get that. Maybe it makes sense from like a rivalry perspective, but like, or maybe a viewership perspective, but just let everyone play their first game against someone else's first game. Yeah, so my family, we all moved out to Indiana. So kind of in the middle of nowhere. So my sister's family moved out there, and then my parents moved out there, and then I'm like, well, I'm gonna get a job out there too. So we just all moved out to Indiana. there's nothing here. And there's no good hockey either. Like, there's a bunch of minor league teams. There's like, but not in the part of Indiana where we live. Like, the closest the closest ECHL team is the Indy Fuel. They play in like an agricultural event center. I don't even know. I haven't actually been to one of their games, so I can't talk. Um, I don't claim Indiana as my state. It's just the state I happen to be in. I don't know. I don't know. I guess the Hoosiers basketball, the story of the really small high school that won the state championship in like the 19 whatevers, long time ago. Like, Indiana's a basketball state. If you ever see the movie Hoosiers, that's Indiana, right? It's a great movie. I guess car racing, Indianapolis 500. Excuse me. Nah, I'm out. I'm here because of family, but like, yeah, I miss the East Coast. It's always fun. It's always fun when you have like a pro sports connection with someone, even if you never talk to him. There was a guy who went to my high school who I never talked to, but he ended up being a pitcher for the Orioles for a couple years there. So that was a lot of fun. He wasn't very good at the major league level, but it was cool that I like went to high school with someone who was playing professional sports. So it's good. What do you know what team he plays for in the AHL? Bryce Montgomery. Oh, his brother plays for the London Knights. That's a good junior team there. Oh, he's in the Hurricanes organization. So that'd be Chicago if they're still. They had that awkward affiliation. Oh, he played for the South Carolina Stingrays. I have good memories of the South Carolina Stingrays. Yeah, Bloomington Bison. He played for the Wolves and for the Bloomington Bison last year. If this is the guy I got. Oh, really? They have a cool logo. A lot of character. I like when the minor league teams have character. And now the ECHL has a lot more character. The AHL has become kind of sanitized now that all the teams have bought out all the other teams. Like, I miss a lot of the old AHL teams. A lot of the old AHL teams have moved to the ECHL or have ended up in the ECHL because the pro teams would just wanted their own affiliates. Now all those teams are kind of sanitized. It's kind of a shame. Yeah, you need more teams like the Bloomington Bison with that. That logo is awesome. Love their logo. We're back to the game here now, so. Yeah, minor league hockey is a lot of fun. And the further down you go, the more... good chance there for the Blackhawks. Good way to start the period there. I got to change my little... Yay. Oh, it's a goal. See, I was looking away, and there's a goal. I didn't see it happen because I was too busy with technology here. I got to see the replay. Yep, they got loose. That was a nice breakout, and then they were away, and it's. So Nazar gives them some verticality, right? Like, he has good speed coming out. That's awesome. Great job, Chicago. I'm at 18:48. They just had a stoppage and a penalty called. Boy, this game's turned. All right, I'll let you know when they it's on. They stopped. They dropped the puck real quick there. ESPN never gets the shot of the action when the action actually occurs. They do that with baseball too. They never show the complete play. So Nazar's been extremely impressive. He's basically generated everything. This game has turned big time now with the Blackhawks on the power play. Offside. So 18:01, 113 on the power play for Chicago. Where I'm at now. I'm too far behind, I think. Yeah, they have a real first line now. It's exciting for them. Teams are going to have to play them a little bit more responsibly defensively, which is going to take some of the pressure off, which is going to let them get into games a little bit more. Tonight, they've just hurt themselves with their turnovers in the first period, but they're in this game now. If they can just play a bit more stable and consistent, they have an actual shot. There's my boy Burakovsky. Any former Hershey Bear, I just get real excited. So working it around the zone, Donato. Shot from the point. Oh, the rebound was right there. And is Reinhardt down? Is he okay? looks fine. That would be a tough loss for them. Did he get sticked? Hershey Park. I used to work at Hershey Park. Before we moved to Indiana, our family moved up to Pennsylvania. So when I was in college in the summers, I used to work at Hershey Park. Fun place, good place to work. So work it around the zone. Bedard there. See if the Blackhawks can get a chance. Ooh, that was a nice setup, but just came to the wrong side of Rinzel's stick. I wouldn't be unhappy with that power play if I was Chicago. They got some nice chances on it. I'd say they're fully in this game now. If they can just hold off the Panthers for a little bit. Just get into this game. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Dahlin's such a threat anywhere because not only can he play from the point, he can just skate past everybody if he wants to. That goal he had, that coast-to-coast goal he had there against Pittsburgh was, wow. I think right now for the Blackhawks, that's their big problem, is they've really added forwards, but they are struggling with the defensive side of things. So, honestly, if you combined the Blackhawks and the Sabres, you might be able to put a good team together. Or, like, if they had Dahlin out there, oof. I'd be a big fan of what the Blackhawks are doing. But that is not possible. We are not getting rid of Dahlin unless he absolutely wants out. So, and even then, it's not like we're required to. He just threatened not to play. But it is a real concern if this year doesn't go very well and we don't re-sign Tuck that Dahlin's going to want out. That's something that a lot of people have said in the media, and a lot of Sabres fans are, I think, a bit worried about. I don't know how realistic of a threat that... I know, right? If I say it, it's going to make it happen. I wouldn't blame him, though. At some point, he deserves a shot to actually win, and I really hope it's with us. They're screening Bobrovsky really well there. You're going to go with him if he goes. I think that's going to be the last straw for a lot of Sabres fans. Man, the Panthers are just getting beat to heck this year. Yeah, you will not be the only Sabres fan to leave the building if we lose Dahlin. I'm locked in for the duration with the Sabres regardless because I saw enough good to not want to leave, but... Well, hopefully he's all right. What exactly happened? Just took a puck to the knee. That's not fun. Hopefully it's not anything too serious. Oh, wow. Oh, Marchand, what a pass across. But can't make anything happen there, but wow. Marchand is so fun to watch play. Everything he does is quality. I mean, I don't know how you I don't know how you handle. I don't know how you beat that, right? I mean, the Panthers can beat you physically. They can beat you with these passes. They have defensemen. They have the skill. There's a reason they've won back-to-back cups, and there's a reason they have a legit shot to do it again, despite all the injuries. Having a guy like Marchand just raises your team too. Like, they have a lot of players like that, but they still, even with all their injuries, have potential to three-peat. So I don't really want to see that happen, but the potential is certainly there. Yeah. That's for sure. Bertuzzi not having the best of nights. Oh, come on, get in there and actually put a forecheck on here. There you go. Don't run into each other. Sometimes it's like watching the Three Stooges out there. But they stuck with it. They're keeping the forecheck going. That's it. That's what you got to do. Work it around. There you go. This is a good shift. Blackhawks finally generating a consistent shift here. There you go. Oh. Bobrovsky, decent save there. Didn't have too much traffic that time. Able to slow it down. That was the first shift of the night where the Blackhawks actually had possession, and they held possession, and they generated a chance. I think you're going to see it more this year, to be honest with you. I think we saw in the preseason a little bit, there were times where they could cycle the puck. And I think we finally have enough guys. Yeah, but I think now we finally have enough guys who can get in there and establish a forecheck and can actually have a bit of puck possession and cycle it. Honestly, the number one issue with the Sabres is they just do not have, or they have not had the guys who can go into the dirty areas of the ice and win puck battles. The problem is we just haven't been able to win puck battles. Like, you can't establish zone time, or you can't play the dump and chase game that Ruff wants to play if you can't win puck battles. But I honestly think they have enough guys now who are willing to go in there and work that it's going to get better this year. But especially early in the year, they're going to have to do it with the defense being as hollowed out as it is. Like, the offense is going to have to take some responsibility, put on a bit of a forecheck, and make some stuff happen. Yeah, I think the power play just needs to have a secondary way to score goals. Like, the whole let's work the puck, let's get the puck to Thompson is so predictable. But the one thing is with Norris is that in Norris's best season, like the year where he was actually healthy with Ottawa, so he was really good on the power play. Like, he scored, I think, 16 power play goals that year. That's the year he had the 35 goals. He can be a scorer on the power play, but if they can't generate a secondary option, something other than Dahlin or Thompson, the power play is going to continue to struggle, because you can game plan against that if you're another team. Like, you just tell guys, okay, they're going to try to get the puck to Thompson, so just wall that up. So, but I think honestly, Norris presents a decent secondary scoring option. And I think the number 2 power play line, it's going to be interesting to see how that develops. But again, I'm going to throw Doan out there. I want to see Doan get some time on there because I think he represents a secondary scoring option as well. If Quinn would actually step up and be able to be a consistent scorer, he could actually work on the power play too with that shot. So, but the number 2 line is going to you have to be able to press them all the time. You can't just play one line for every power play. I think too often the Sabres just don't threaten enough on their power play. And a lot of that's because they can't cycle the puck as well. Yeah, Power's really in a tough spot. I forget. Give me a second because I want to check his. There's nothing you can do. Honestly, it's really complicated with Power. The spot they're in with Power. I need to check his contract real quick. I don't remember it off the top of my head. Yeah, so you're screwed. You're in year 2 of a 7-year contract. So like, the best thing you can try to do is trade him, but his stock is so low right now. What are you going to get for him? Can you actually get a legit top 6 forward for him? If you can, then yeah, you can consider trading him. Yeah, what? It's a 7-year. What's the full 7-year, $58 million deal? 8.35 million cap hit per year. I don't know why we gave him that contract. Like, he had a good year, and they were really eager to lock him up. I get that. But, like, he was, at best, an average defenseman. There was nothing there to say, oh, he's going to be a top-flight defenseman, right? Can he play? Can he even play Lindy Ruff's style? Like, can he play the style that Ruff wants? Because he's not physical. Yeah, exactly. Can he play that style? I don't think he can play that style. So, he doesn't fit our system now. But he's on a 7-year deal. He's not that good in other aspects of his game. The only thing he can do somewhat is skate, which is why they're so high on him. Because for whatever reason, this front office has an obsession with skating, especially defensemen who can skate. And I get that. You know, there's something I really agree with. That there was a comment on one of the videos the other day about the size aspect and the speed aspect. The NHL is becoming bigger again. Like, 10 years ago, everything started transitioning towards skating and speed. But now it's becoming a size and physicality a bit more situation. But yeah, power does not fit. That's what the game has become in the last in the 2020s. He doesn't really fit that. So it's a concern. And also our player acquisition model doesn't fit that. Fortunately, Ruff system does fit the current model of the way the NHL is changing. But yeah, and I think one of the reasons everyone's like so obsessed with Mirtka is because he would come out and he would actually, chirp at people and bother people after the play and hit people, and it's so refreshing to see a defensive prospect do that after what we've been through with power. So if he would just do some more of that, like a face wash or get into scrums, I think he would endear himself to the fan base a lot more. But until he does that, it's just like he's asleep at the wheel, and no fan base wants to deal with a player who's asleep at the wheel. My stream of the game has really slowed down here, so I'm having some technical problems watching the game here, so I'm going to have to back out, reset my actual view of the game. Yeah, so my feed of the game has gotten a little messed up here. So probably going to have to readjust if you want to stay synced. When I get it back, I'll let you know. You know, I'm real slow. My game is real slow right now. Okay, I think it's come back good. So I'm at 8. Well, when there's a stoppage, I'll let you know where I'm at. But yeah, power's frustrating. Yeah. When there's a stoppage, I'll let you know because it's too tough to try to. There we go. Spencer Knight just made a save. 8:29 left in the second here. And we're going to commercial, so. Got to give Spencer Knight a lot of credit. He has held the line very, very well in this game. Why do the Blackhawks actually have a shot at this is the question. I think they do. Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Owen Power's everything that's wrong with this team in a nutshell. That is exactly it. My frustration with this team stems from they space out at times. They can be going so well and then they just disappear for 20 seconds and they give up a goal. Steve. Dallas Cowboys fan. Props to you, buddy. I'm a Packers fan, so don't hate me too much. That game was a mess. So let's hope Chicago gets it done here. But yeah, Owen Power, everything that's wrong with the Buffalo Sabres. I think so. Dallas Cowboys and Canadians fan. That is a combination. How does that happen, Steve? How can you become how are you a Dallas Cowboys and Canadians fan? I'm very interested to hear about how that happened. I guess it's not stranger than a Sabres Packers fan, but I don't hate people. I hate the team except for the New York Knicks. Well, the Knicks are very hateable, so I guess that's fine. I'm not really a basketball guy, but I can live with Knicks hate. That's always fine. Yeah, and all yeah, that's another thing too, Mossy. I think a lot of the Sabres think they are much better than they actually are. You know, like I think a lot of the Sabres players are like they're all high skill guys. They're all high draft picks. They're all guys who are like the best on their team in junior or or tore up the minor leagues and they have this overinflated opinion of themselves. And that's actually why I think Lindy Ruff is a perfect coach for this group because he's going to take that mentality away, you know. Yeah. You know, I honestly don't think I think we have replaced Paterka very well. Like with our secondary signings and the other forwards we've got, I think we're going to make up the 27 goals, and I think we're going to get a better overall quality of play. I'm a fan of that trade. Now, Kesselring actually has to be healthy for that trade to pay off, though. Yeah, no, the Canadians are a really attractive NHL team to root for just because they have a lot of history. Um, and hey, diehard fan is diehard fan, man. So that's great. I don't have any particular issues with the Cowboys at all. A lot of people don't like the Cowboys. Obviously, Packers fan, we've had a lot of good times against the Cowboys recently, but like one of my best friends is a Cowboys fan, good guy. So I don't have any issue with the. Like you said, you don't hate the people. You can hate the teams, but you don't hate the people who cheer for the teams. Yeah, the vibes are vibes are important, I would say, right? Paterka seemed like he was just joyless. I'm sure he was fine, but maybe he just wanted out. I don't blame anybody who really wants out, but we need guys who want to be in Buffalo. So, yeah, too cool for school is Paterka. Well, I don't know. Is he going to be too cool for school in Utah? Like, yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I think the big teams and the big fan bases do more harm than good. And the Yankees have recently become that way too. Like, I mean, the Yankees haven't won a World Series in a while, in a hot minute, and they haven't had that much success in a while. At least they've gone to a World Series. The Leafs and Cowboys can't even say they've been that far in the playoffs. But honestly, I like what the Cowboys have this year. I know that they're kind of undermanned and everything, but I think by the end of the year the Cowboys are going to be pretty good. I tell my friend who's a Cowboys fan that I think they're going to make the playoffs and they're going to have a shot, and he's like, "No way." So I don't know if that's true, but I do like some of the things they've done. I don't think they're as bad as people say, and I that tie was ridiculous just because nobody could play defense, but Cowboys have a shot at least being a playoff team this year. I like your coach. I like Brian Schottenheimer. I think he's a stand-up guy. But man, the Leafs, right? And the Leafs fans, especially the Leafs fans, they do so much more harm than good. They are so hard on that team. They are so hard on those players that it creates such a pressure-filled atmosphere, and not everyone can handle it. You say, "Oh, I want to go play in Toronto," and then you play in Toronto and you get just reamed out by your own fans, and you're like, "Well, maybe I don't want to play in Toronto anymore." Kind of tough. All right, there's a big moment in this game. If the Blackhawks can get a goal here, you can get it done. Skip. Skip always makes me laugh. I don't take Skip seriously. I think Skip's funny. Skip is so good at what he does. Skip just is a character. Stephen A was a character, and now he's gotten to the point where he totally believes what he's saying is like legitimate. Oh yeah, no one can be a goalie for the Leafs. Being a goalie for the Leafs is like the worst job in the world. And imagine being the Leafs defenseman, because every year, every team, there's a defenseman that every fan base is just like, this guy sucks. Imagine being that guy for the Leafs too. Like, that's not fun. At least for the Sabres, we have like two punching bags, because we can criticize Power, and we also get to go after Samuelson as well. Like, we got two guys we can spread the love to two across two defensemen, so it doesn't get too difficult. We can package Power and Samuelson together, and just they'll have like an aneurysm or something in Toronto. We could do that and not lose really anything. Maybe that'll get us a top six. If we put them both together, we can get an actual top six forward. Yeah, I don't know. Jerry Jones, like, he blew up this whole Micah Parsons drama as well. It didn't need to be like this, but he had to keep it alive, so. All right, let's see what the Blackhawks can do here. I'm really hopeful that they can get a goal and give themselves a lead going into this third period. But what they cannot do now that we're under 5 minutes, they cannot give up a goal, or it's gonna be tough. But I'm really impressed at the way they have stood up and stabilized this game. Because after the first, it looked like they were going to get their face kicked in. But they've held up really well. Oh, but here they go. Oh, man, how did he not score? That was a heck of a chance. He didn't get it off his stick, or did Knight actually get a piece of it? Pretty good block, yep. Let's go, Chicago. Good move, Bedard. Oh, what a move and what a shot. Yeah, let's manifest it. All right, so Buffalo, we're gonna be trading Owen Power to the Leafs tomorrow. Let's do it. We can't trade any defenseman right now. We need all hands on deck. Power's hurt anyway. We can't trade him yet. I just don't think we can trade Power. That's the issue. I don't think you're ever going to get a return on him where the front office is going to say that's acceptable. A number 1 overall pick. Yeah, it was a nice hit. And a good cover there. I like the way, I know the shots are 26-11, but I really like the way the Blackhawks have stepped in and stabilized this game. It's something they could not do last year. They're not intimidated. They're not very good, but they're not intimidated. They're standing up and they're playing a solid game. They're looking for chances. And they might have something in this goalie as well. Yeah, what happened? Oh, he just got his toe on it. But, it all goes away if they get a quick goal here at the end of the period. So, Blackhawks got to stand up. Good hit there. Yeah. Way to clean it up. Come on, you got to get... Oh, another Panther is down. And they're, of course, going to take exception to that. I have no idea what happened. Was it a dive? I didn't see the contact. I just saw him go down. So hopefully they give us a replay. I mean, Greer doesn't seem like the type who's going to... Oh, he did kind of get... I'm not going to say he got speared. Looks like they just ran into each other, but he got a lot of stick in there, so. The way he's stretching, though, it looks like it could be... He's not coming out. He's not going to leave. He's a tough guy. I don't think there was anything dirty about that. I just think he got in there. Tough angle with the stick. Oh, Greer needs an assist for the Gordie Howe. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like the stick just got him. Probably in a place... Probably in a place that you don't want to be got. The way he was stretching... It's like an upper-lower body injury of some kind. I'm going to be vague because it's hockey. We got to be vague about the injuries. Oh, solid check there in the corner. That was good. Got to control the puck. Come on, Blackhawks. This is what you got. This is what you got to do. You got to control it. You got to get it out. You got to work it up. Dang. Oh, that was excellent work by Chicago there. Win that puck battle. Not to the degree hockey is, no. Oh, great! Oh, what a pass across. Bobrovsky, good job getting across. I don't know if he quite had the angle there, but no, like other sports will report injuries pretty clearly. They won't do all this upper lower body nonsense. Like you never know what the injury is in hockey. You can guess and you might hear, they might tell you sometime, but and it gets worse the later you get in the season. I mean, in hockey it makes sense because obviously you don't want the other team to know because they will target specifically where you're hurt. But football they do the same thing. Yeah, I feel like they've gotten worse over the year. They've gotten worse over the years. I really do. Usually when it usually all comes out after the season. They're not afraid to talk about it after the season, but they just don't want anyone to know in season. But I think in like the NFL, they're required to list in more detail what the injury is. But they all NFL teams often lie about what the injury is as well. They just make something up. Well, Chicago gets out of the second, tied at 2. So we go to the third, 2-2. I mean, hey, this is a game. This is more of a game than I think a lot of people thought it would be. Doesn't mean anything, but it would be nice if it would be nice if the Panthers don't get all 2 points in this one. Yeah, that happened. That definitely happened. See, sometimes you know what the injury is. If you watch the game, you can learn and figure out what the injury is. But yeah, if they know, they're going to target it. And hockey players are really not shy about going for it. Hockey players are absolutely going to target when those injuries are there, 100%. So, but the NFL too, they disclose the injury and then players obviously are targeting that injury. But in the NFL, you can protect things a lot better. I think you just put a cast on it. Like those defensive guys who break their hand, you just put a club on it. You go out there and you smack people with your club. It's a little bit different in hockey. You can't really protect your injuries as much and still have the freedom of movement you need to be like an effective player. So I think that's why they don't disclose it, simply because they can't protect it as much. Baseball, they disclose it freely because it doesn't really matter. It's not like anybody's going to target you in baseball. I guess they could, like theoretically, like when you're running the bases, or if you have an ankle injury and you play second, they could come slide at you. But I don't know about basketball because I'm really not a basketball guy. I'm not up on how they handle the injury reports in basketball, but I think they disclose it as well. But hockey is just the most mysterious in terms of what is this injury? Well, we don't know. It's funny with like UPL, they're like, "Oh, he has a lower body injury," and then on October 3rd, they're like, "By the way, this was a different lower body injury." So he now has 2 lower body injuries, and you don't know what any of it is. My fear is that he has a hip and he has a groin, and now you're just absolutely. He's never going to be healthy if that's the case. But they shouldn't. I think they rushed him back, and that's why he re-injured himself. Like when you're playing a little hurt, you're much more likely to re-injure yourself because you're favoring something. You're not moving in the correct or natural way. I understand with our goalie situation why they wanted him to come back quickly, but you got to make sure your guys are healthy before you bring them back. You can't really mess around with that. comments on that last video really getting the Owen Power hate going. Who do you think is more hated in the Sabres fan base? Owen Power or Matthias Samuelsson? I feel like both of them get an inordinate amount of hate. Well, not, I mean, it's deserved, but they get a lot of hate. Powers more so. I can see that. Is it just because he's the number? Is it just because he was? Do you think it's just because he was a number one overall pick and totally failed? Or okay, it's because he doesn't hit people. Okay, I got it. Samuelson strikes me as a guy who tries really hard sometimes, but he doesn't want to get involved physically, and he just has no confidence. Like Samuelson is just a guy who plays with like, yeah, he plays with no confidence. So what? You just feel bad for him, basically. I can see that. Yeah, it's really tough, man. Like, I feel for these defensemen in some ways because they just get piled on, but at the same time, you gotta play better. Defensemen are always the easiest targets for fans. It happens every year for every team. I remember when we were going to Hershey games, and the Hershey that year is like 2009, 2010, or 2008, 2009. They're super strong. They won the Calder Cup that year. And there was a defenseman, Tyler Sloan. And he actually, I think, was like tops of the league in plus minus. But he was just so awkward in terms of how he skated. He never won puck battles. He never got engaged physically. And the Bears fans, we just did not like him. And he got, anytime he made a mistake, he just got absolutely piled on at the games. So it always happens. You know, it's hard when these guys get a contract because I think they start to put more pressure on themselves. Before you get that contract, it's like, okay, I'm just playing hockey. And then once you get that contract, it's like, totally different. Yeah, no, definitely get to a Bears game. I'd say they've toned it down in the last 10 years or so. But like the end of the aughts and like 10, 11, 12, it was wild in there. It was like, they're like good Flyers. They're like good Philadelphia fans. You know how the Flyers fans are kind of like, they're mean and they have that kind of, nobody wants to be around them. Bears fans are like, Hershey Bears fans are like nice Flyers fans. Nice Philadelphia fans. They have all the brutality towards the players and the other team of Philadelphia fans, but they're really nice to other fans. It doesn't transfer over to the other fans, which is nice. But they had to clean. They did a lot of cleaning. Yeah, no, I understand, right? Bad hockey's distasteful. It's not fun to watch bad hockey. It's frustrating to watch bad hockey. Not good hockey is beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing to watch in sports is to watch like teams play beautiful hockey. It's wonderful, but yeah, bad hockey is just an eyesore. 10 minutes to the third period here. I want to get this show on the road. But I've been impressed with the Blackhawks. They give me hope. The Blackhawks can do this. We can do this too, right? So See the remainder of the games today. We got the Rangers and Penguins are going to be the next game, and then Avalanche Kings. Okay, that's the last game tonight. Yeah, absolutely. McDavid should have more attention on him. Some of it again, I think, is like, I mean, I know he plays in Canada, but so he gets a lot of attention up there. But some of it is he plays in Edmonton as well. So Edmonton is not going to get a lot of. Obviously, it's a classic franchise, and like they have a lot of history. Obviously, Gretzky played there, but honestly, outside of Canada, they're kind of in the West Coast. They're not the West Coast, but they're kind of the Western side, so they get in a lot of those late time zone games. So a lot of the hockey markets in the U.S. do not, you know, watch them. At least the East Coast hockey markets in the U.S. do not generally get an opportunity to watch a lot of Oilers. So that kind of blunts his overall potential to be considered or to be so famous. I think if he was in like an East Coast market or Toronto or perhaps a larger market, I think he'd get more coverage. But just hockey is not presented in a widespread way in the States. So but yeah, he deserves more love across the board. I think it's just tough to break the hold the NFL has. And I think a lot of the popularity of sports has to do with how accessible it is to people to watch or to get into, right? And hockey and soccer both have a very high financial barrier to get to the top level. Whereas football, I mean, if you're good, you can go play high school. Like, you're going to have a path to college. You're going to have a path to the NFL. It's much easier to, like, dream that you can be that. Baseball also is very, like, the travel team said there's a high cost entry. But even if you don't play for a great, like, baseball, they will find you. NBA too, right? They'll find you if you're good enough, but it's also getting more expensive with the kind of the ABA stuff and the youth stuff is. But you don't find the best players there. NBA, they will still find you if you're good. Yeah, no, American football abroad is really viewed in the same vein as I think cricket honestly is the best comparison to American football in a lot of other countries. Like, I've spent time in Japan. I've talked to a lot of Japanese people, and, like, nobody knows what American football is. So, it's very much, nobody understands the rules. It's very much viewed as, like, cricket. So, there was a time where hockey was breaking through in Japan, but it kind of didn't do it. It's kind of gone by the wayside now. It's still play. The women's ice hockey team in Japan is pretty okay, but their men's team is not good at all. Yeah, there was a professional Japanese league. It's now like an Asian league. It has teams in Korea and China, but they had ice hockey in the northern island in Japan, Hokkaido. They actually play ice hockey and curling and all the winter sports, but for the most part, the rest of Japan has no idea what ice hockey is. But baseball's king. Baseball's king in Japan. So. I mean, it's tough to say. I think he's probably, I don't know. He's not in the top tier, I would say, because I think he's a step behind like Makar and like that group, but I think he's top 5. There's just some small things about his game that he could, I think, improve. I still don't love always his defensive positioning. As far as offensive defenseman, he's in the top of the top. But I still think he can improve his defensive game a little bit, become a bit more balanced. But I think he's a top 5 defenseman. The only reason he's number 7 is because he plays in Buffalo. Like, there's not a lot of love for Buffalo players. It's unfortunate, but there's always going to be a media bias there until the team starts winning again. Going to go ahead and change this now so I don't get caught unawares and miss a goal. But no, he's a top 5 defenseman, I think. Let's see, NHL. I want to find that list. So let me see who they have above him. Makar, Hughes, Werenski, Heiskanen, Hedman, Morrissey, Dahlin. I mean, Hedman's there because he's Hedman. That's more of a name than an actual performance. Werenski, he came out of nowhere last year. I think they put him a little bit high there. If we're just going off last season, I don't know how you can put Heiskanen in there because he was hurt most of the year. So. And then Morrissey plays on the Jets. So how on earth can you judge him when he's playing for a much better team? You know? So I think if you put all the factors in play, Dahlin would probably... He has a real shot at number 4 on that list. I wouldn't necessarily put him... If you just go off last year, maybe Werenski deserves to be ahead of him. But and I'm not going to mess with Hughes and Makar at the top. So yeah, I think 4 would be reasonable, but not 7. 7's too low. That's just because he plays in Buffalo. That's the Buffalo tax. I always don't recognize Kevin Weeks anymore. I remember when he was an analyst for the NHL Network, but like, he looks a lot different than he used to. Maybe it's just the angle. Yeah, I can see that. I think Werenski, to say he's 3, I think that's just an overreaction to last year. So I could swap him out with Werenski and put him in there as a top 3. It basically depends if Werenski can repeat his season from last season, which I don't necessarily think he can. Yeah, Makar is the best. Oh, Blackhawks here early. Chance. Wow. Oh, if Blackhawks get an early goal, this is going to be a fun one the rest of the way because I think Florida's going to press, and I think we're going to get a lot of exciting hockey in the third period. But I can also see Florida just putting their nose down and grinding this one out as well. So I think if the Blackhawks are going to have a shot, they're going to need to score first in this period, obviously. ESPN putting up the wins when tied after 2 last season. Blackhawks had the fewest with 3. Panthers had the most with 13. Bertuzzi just looks like he's kind of out there. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what to do to make it more Sabresy. I'm about exactly 19 minutes right now. So I'll let you know when I get to the stoppage, but when I said that was exactly 19 minutes. So Blackhawks going to try to do this dump and chase stuff again, but to do that, you actually have to win a puck battle and get control of the puck, which is not the easiest thing to do against Florida, but you got to, if you're going to do dump and chase, you got to do that. Bad teams always do dump and chase because it's a simple system, but it actually requires you to be good at winning puck battles to work. Like teams that don't have any other way to get the puck into the zone or lack skill always do it, but it doesn't mean it's going to work out just because it's simple. Knight's been really intriguing to me to watch in this game because he's playing small, but he's tracking the puck really, really well. And I'm sorry, I didn't give you the time at the stoppage. That's my bad. Hopefully there's another stoppage soon. I just hit exactly 18 right there. Panthers try to work it around. They have the zone time now. Marchand out front. Blocked. Whew, I thought that was going to be it. Blackhawks coming back. They're just absolutely mugging that guy. There's 4 Panthers in that corner, and they don't win the puck. There you go, Blackhawks. That's it. Oh, that was a good hit, but it's just 2-on-1 anyway. 2-on-1 the other way. Shot, save. Gosh. The rebound does not do anything. We have that angle where it made the rebound look dangerous. Blackhawks break it back down the ice. A little in the corner. 17 minutes just passed there. Maybe could have got a ticky-tack trip there, but they didn't call it. Very angry Panthers fan in the corner. Oh, Blackhawks right in. Shot. Where'd the puck go? There it is. Dickinson was flying in there. Got a pretty good shot away. Center collision. 16:30 to go. It's out of play, and that's a stoppage. We finally got a stoppage. So at this stoppage, 16:23, and they're showing the shot out front. Yeah, that was a great block there by, I don't know who that is, 95. That was a great block. And then Knight, pretty good save. At least it's been a good game. At least it's been a close, competitive game. So we restarted here. 16:06. Turnover. Not really a turnover. Steered aside. 16 minutes to go. The urgency is getting turned up a little bit, it seems. Oh, spin move, but can't finish off the spin move. God, how can you not love hockey? Marchand again. That's always dangerous. I'll pass. Wow. Okay, now that's something Bedard was not doing last year that he did. He came back and he back checked and he stopped that play. That was awesome. And that's really encouraging to see if you're a Blackhawks fan because he had not. Oh, and great takeaway there. Almost made something happen. Oh, it's getting exciting. They ice it 14:35 to go in the third. Oh. Having a grand old time here. Hoping just it'd be nice to see the Blackhawks get this win. Give all us struggling small market teams a little bit of hope. Not that Chicago is a small market team, but they've been playing like a small market team the last few years, so be nice to get a little bit of hope for us, and also always nice if the Panthers end up with less than 2 points. Helps out the Sabres calls a little bit. Not that we're in the same neighborhood as the Panthers, but any little bit helps, right? It's nice to dream. Blackhawks working it in and around, and the Panthers trying to break out. They have not gotten a lot of clean entries into the zone. Oh, was that a high hit? Did they call? No. No stoppage in play. Welcome back, Mossy. We're stopped at 14:04 if you need the time. $14:04 to go. They just called the penalty, I believe, on Florida. Maybe high stick? Yeah, that's definitely a high stick. So this is the chance, Chicago. This is what you've been looking for the whole game here. Bertuzzi, Tevarainen, Nazar, Bedard, Rinzel is the power play unit for Chicago. And immediately out of the zone, and Marchand going to have a chance. Turned aside by Knight. Bertuzzi just gets absolutely wrecked, but Black was able to cycle the puck. Nazar brings a bit of touch and finesse that the Blackhawks have been lacking in recent years. Bertuzzi should be a little bit disappointed in himself going down there for that puck battle and just getting wiped out. See what the Hawks can pull here. Rinzel across to Bedard. To Rinzel. Tevarainen. Rinzel. Are they actually going to do anything here? Move it to Bedard. They get a shot. Save made. Bobrovsky. Good save. A little bit of traffic. But not a high enough quality chance to matter. We're stopped at 13:21. A minute 17 to go in the power play. Little late shove there by... Was that Jones with the shove at the end there? No. That was Mikola there. Okay, the Blackhawks reload. Rinzel, a shot blocked into the corner. Tervarainen out and away. All right, Blackhawks, let's get something going here. Rinzel, Nazar, Tervarainen, Nazar. Come on, Blackhawks. Bedard. Cannot. Oh, bad turnover there by the Panthers. Can the Blackhawks do anything with it? Anything? Did that puck hit him in the face? That puck hit him in the face. Or did the stick hit him in the face? If the stick hit him in the face, it's going to be a penalty. If it was the puck, yeah, that's a good idea. I'll look into it. Now, what hit him here? The puck bounced off his stick and hit him in the face? What? Glad he's okay. That's a freak situation. Yeah, Mossy, until something like that happens, I will try to do a better job of mentioning the time so that anyone who's watching can get it synced up. But that's a really good idea, and I will look into it for the future. Okay, so what we need here is a little bit of offense. Of course, that's what you need. You need goals. But they aren't able to get anything on the power play here. We'll see what happens until the Panthers get control, but they do, and that is it for the Blackhawks power play. Marchand tries to create something in the offensive zone for Florida, but the Blackhawks are able to work it out to center. I honestly don't watch anything. I don't know about so much other Sabres content. I don't know what other people are posting. But look, I don't blame any Sabres fan or Sabres creator for having crazy takes at this point. You know, after 14 years, like, I get it. It causes people to go a little bit mad at times. So I don't. Maybe it's easier when you don't like live in the city like a lot of these creators do, or you don't live in New York in the area. You don't. It's not around you all the time. But you know, sometimes people get into their takes, their ideas, and then that just becomes their take, and it's very difficult to get people to change their take or their idea. I think it's important to constantly be evaluating where you stand, and the only way to do that is to watch the games. And oh, that's a goal. You knew it was coming at some point. Eventually, it looked like the Blackhawks had turned the tide, but I don't want to have to change this. I do want to see what happened first, though. Because he definitely smacked it in. We got to see, is there anything irregular about this goal? I have my doubts. He just flipped it across and it got tapped in. I mean, what? It doesn't seem to be a high stick. What a weird deflection that took. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but whatever it was, it if it was off the hand, I wouldn't say he made like a pushing motion. So it's just a weird goal. That's unfortunate because I think Chicago was finally starting to turn the tide and get into the game, right? Like, that is too bad. But what can you do? Just got to pick it up and try to make something happen from here. Shesterkin. They're showing Shesterkin now for the Rangers. Be nice to have a good goalie. All I can think about is jealousy at that point. But, I have no idea what people say about the Sabres, honestly, other than what people say in my comments on this channel. I don't know what people are saying. So I think there's the potential. I mean, it's a really interesting team and an interesting group of players. I don't know why they don't get talked about more. I understand it's just because they've been bad, but yeah, I understand they don't want it slowing the game down, but I think you should get. I think you should get one freebie. I think you should get one challenge that is not penalized, and then if you do a second challenge and you lose, they can penalize you. Like, you get one free challenge, because that's probably all you need. Obviously, if you do it excessively, okay, that's fine. But it's not going to slow the game down that much. I mean, hockey games usually move pretty quick anyway. Yeah, I know you keep it till you're wrong, but I think, like, I don't know, or just do what the NFL does and just give them two. Just give them two challenges. That's probably, again, all you need in a game. Or just have every goal automatically reviewed by some kind of sky judge. And just take a little bit longer after the goal. Now, that gets you into the VAR territory, which everyone in soccer seems to hate. But look, if we have the technology to be as accurate as possible, I don't understand why we don't just do that. Like, the priority should always be getting the call right. We should prioritize that over speed. And especially now that there's all these gambling interests involved, it becomes way more important to make sure everything is right 100%. Because if you have anything that's open to chance or open to bias or open to, like, human error, the gambling interest can get all over that, and then you start questioning everything. Is it fixed? Is it not fixed? And it's just a bad place to be. So I'm honestly in favor of just have a quick review of everything, and if it looks bad, buzz down and have them take a deeper look at it. I don't think there's any reason to be leaving it up to the teams at this point. That's how I feel about it anyway. They're not going to listen to me, though. ESPN's really going to be trying to make this about how tough the Panthers are. Oh, they overcome all these injuries, the poor babies. They forget how deep this team actually is and how entrenched the system is and that they're going to be good regardless. Been a pretty even third period. The thing that we're lacking here is just a Blackhawks goal. Right now, the Panthers have all the difference. So, oh, there you go. There's some good physicality. Didn't really lead to anything. Didn't really even get the puck for the Blackhawks, but I enjoyed the pushing there. Oh, actually made a pretty decent play to knock the puck away and try to generate a forecheck. Oh, no, it's too early to try. Oh, no. No, no way. Oh, no. Oh. The two Blackhawks just ran into each other, gave it a 2-on-1. Oh, if Florida had scored, what a way to pretty much end the game. Nice. Spencer Knight has impressed me. Everything else about the Blackhawks, it's really their defensemen, right? Like, their problem is clearly their defense. And they don't have a lot of forward depth, but yikes. Yeah, watching this game makes you want to watch McDavid. You can feel more free. You actually want to watch some nice hockey after this. I'm hoping that the Sabres actually look good some of the time this year. Actually, a fun watch. Well, yeah, that's the thing again. I said with the Oilers, right? They play in that Western time zone basically. So they aren't in the Western time zone, but they get all the Western time zone games. So they're not easy to watch. They're fun to watch, but they're not easy to watch. You got to wait till they come on their East Coast trip, and then you get a nice view of them. Got 8 minutes to go here. Well, 7:47 now, but Panthers look far more likely to make that second insurance goal happen than the Blackhawks do to tie this game. There's some. Is he bleeding? Or he was probably bleeding before and they got it fixed. Looks like Reinhardt's taking a bit of a beating in this one. Anze Kopitar has played for the Kings for 20 years. Jeez. I feel old. Ovechkin doesn't make me feel old, but playing for the Caps for 21 years doesn't make me feel old. But Anze Kopitar playing for the Kings for 20 years does. I don't understand why there's a difference to that. So 7:35 to go here in the third. Panthers lose the draw. Blackhawks try to bring it up. Man out. That's just going to be icing again. Blackhawks going with the we're going to ice the puck every second strategy. Yeah, I'm ready for Sabres hockey now. this was a good appetite whetter, but we have to wait so long to get started. Like one of the last teams to start. It's kind of irritating. Oh, pass in here. Good chance, but they're not. He cannot get it off his stick. Blackhawks try to cycle it around here. There's a shot. It's blocked in front. Panthers get back on the puck. And it went out of play. Not entirely sure how that went out of play, but 7:05 to go. Yeah, Nazar is actually like, in football we'd say he's a deep threat, but and we'd say he's making it a more vertical. For the first time, the Blackhawks have a way to stretch the ice vertically, which they haven't really had. I think Nazar is going to open up a lot of things for their top group. And I think he can do a lot of work on the power play as well. So really nice addition there. They're trying to rebuild. Let's get to work on the D-core a little bit first, but can't complain too much. Oh, misstep there by the D. 2-on-1 for Florida. Across, down low. Save made. Spencer Knight. What a stop. Wow. When they have called on him, he has come up big in this one. He's stopped 32 of 35 shots now, and that was his best of the night. Defense caught really flat-footed there, but that I really like. He has really good vision. He's able to stay with it. He makes himself a little small when he commits, so if you can be patient, I think will have a window to beat him. But he is so good at tracking the puck. It's a really impressive point I've been able to see from this one. Well, let's see what the Blackhawks can do. Hopefully they get a little bit of momentum off that and can find the equalizer, but give the puck right back to the Panthers. 6:30 to go. Marchand works it into the zone. There's a shot down low, blocked off. Blackhawk falls down, gets caught up in a puck battle. Panthers bring the forecheck, but the Blackhawks are able to work it up ice a little bit. And their pocket is picked there at center ice. Blackhawks are able to get it deep. Can they establish the forecheck? Not really. Bobrovsky's been really good at moving the puck out and not letting the Blackhawks set up down low. 6 minutes to play. Puck battle there in the corner. This is one that you'd like to see the Blackhawks come away with. They are able to. They can work it to the point. Now they got to spread out. Good skating there. Shot from an angle. Rebound goes wide. That's about as close as they've come. They reset everything. I have a little jump in my stream, and it is caught there by Bobrovsky. He's going to hold it. 5:25 to go. They had the look they wanted. They had the open net on the rebound, and they couldn't get it done. My stream has become a little bit disconnected there, so just going to reset it. But we're at 5:25 at the stoppage there, so yeah, I don't know if they're going to get a better chance than that. It wasn't like a grade A chance, but it was certainly because it was kind of far out and there were bodies there, but it was certainly, you'd say, an intermediate danger chance, which might be all they get. I don't know. If I was a Blackhawks fan, I wouldn't feel too badly right now. I'd be frustrated a little bit, but I would be happy with the new additions, and I would acknowledge there's still a long way to go, especially with this decor. I don't know how we're gonna feel come the end of our game in a couple days. Hopefully, we have a lot of positives to draw from it. I really don't want to be making a highlight video that is just depressing, so I hope we show up. It's much more fun to make those when the Sabres win than when the Sabres play terrible, so. I'm much more likely, too, in those highlight videos to show the breakdowns when it's a defensive breakdown on the Sabres, because I really want to highlight who makes the mistake, because I don't want I really want to try to make sure blame is getting assigned to the right people, because I don't want us to, hate on someone whose fault it truly isn't. Back to the game here. It's 5:15. The puck goes out of the zone. Blackhawks really need a goal. But to get that goal, they're really going to need to set up a bit in that zone. So 4:55 to play here in this third period, in this game. The Hawks working around. There's a shot. Goes behind the net. Hawks are actually able to establish some zone time now, as it's held by Bobrovsky on a chance down low. 4:37 to go. In the third, Panthers fans, if they are worried, they don't seem particularly worried. Why would they be worried at this point? But there are nerves there. How are there... I mean, okay, so maybe some people left to beat traffic, but how are there empty seats at this point? That's not great. It's not a great look, Florida. So they try to pinch and they get caught. Florida's able to break it back down the ice. Is anyone with Marchand? He takes a shot, save, made Spencer Knight. Good job. Marchand really going to have to get into the offensive role this year. Fortunately, it's a role he knows well. Given that last year for the Bruins, he had to do a lot that he hadn't historically been used to doing in his career. But just a great job by Knight to get across this one. .418 to play. Blackhawks win the draw. Get it up to center ice where the Panthers recover it, but then turn it over immediately. It goes down into the zone. Oh, that's a bad turnover, but not really in a position to do anything with it and send it out of play. That's a good question. So the highlight videos are the actual game highlight videos. They are listed as copyright. So I can use them. It doesn't affect visibility or anything. But obviously my channel is too small to be monetized. But if I were ever monetized, I would not be able to draw revenue off of those, basically. But to me, that's not really a big deal. As long as it doesn't affect my channel and it doesn't affect my visibility. I personally like making those. So as long as it doesn't actually harm the visibility of my channel, I'm happy to continue to make the highlight videos regardless of what they do. And then if I'm including short highlights, like 7-second highlights or mixed up or something, they don't get the content ID system doesn't really find them. So you see a lot of sports YouTubers using those really short highlights. So that's basically it. If it's not from the NHL, it usually doesn't get. It's not going to get hit. But the NHL is very aggressive about identifying its stuff. So So the highlight videos, though, I really enjoy making. So I don't think I'll ever stop making those regardless of what happens as far as the channel or anything. But the player profiles, no, all of that, I'm very careful to make sure it's not enough time. So... Panthers get a pass across there for 2:40 to go. Blackhawks are running out of time. I wonder when they're going to pull the netminder here. Teams have been doing it earlier and earlier in recent years. But you got to establish yourself a little bit, otherwise you're not going to get the opportunity. So probably about 2 minutes here, I imagine they'll be sending him. I don't have the audio, so usually they tell you. Hopefully we get a graphic or something. Shows up here. Wow. Florida's just like, no, you cannot come in the zone. Absolutely not. Ryan dances around, shoots, save made. Nice save again. But the Blackhawks are going to have to get him out of the goal at some point here. And not a lot of urgency. You only have 1:40, guys. Long pass up the ice, and they cannot get possession. This is kind of bad at this point. 90 seconds to go. They still cannot get the goalie. They cannot get the puck out of the zone and get the goalie off the ice. They turn it over at center again. Oh, this is bad. They cannot get it out of the zone. They have wasted about a minute. They turn it over. Offside? Yeah. Oh, no. Penalty is coming. And Spencer Jones is like, what am I doing here? That is absolutely disgraceful. That is horrible. Like, you have the puck there at like 2:40. You get control of the puck like 2:40, 2:30, right? And you just spend the next minute and a half trying to get the puck up ice, out of your own zone. You can't even do that. Florida's amazing. Florida has them hemmed in so well. But that can't happen. So timeout has been called, I believe, here. Spencer Knight, he's been great tonight. But even he had to be a little frustrated. He was getting frustrated at the fact that the Blackhawks could not move the puck up ice at all there. So we'll see if the Blackhawks have anything to go for it here. We'll see if they can actually get the puck up ice. Yeah, that's true. But, he has a good year. Maybe he can get he can get a role elsewhere. Or maybe they'll get better. As a goalie, you kind of just are trying to secure your future, right? What is his contract? Well, Blackhawk, did he really just end up... Yeah, what? He's in... Sorry, I can't talk. He's in the last year of his contract, so he's done after this year. He does not have to be there anymore if he doesn't want to. All right, well, they got him out finally. Blackhawks set up, shot in, rebound goes wide, rebound through the crease. Blackhawks 42 seconds to go. Try to leave it there. Oh, they have it high slot. Shot goes wide of the goal. You got to actually get those on target. Bedard takes it up, almost loses it, recovers it, 30 seconds to go. Tevarainen has it, gets it to the center, back to him, down low, backhand rebound. Cleared out of the zone because the point man can't handle it. 18 to go. Puck is deflected down. That is all Florida. They're able to lift it out to center, 13 to go. 10 to go. Blackhawks last-ditch chance to try to get something going on the forecheck. 5 to go. Florida rings it around the boards and out of the zone, and that's going to do it. The Panthers are going to beat Chicago 3-2, and they will pick up their first 2 points of the year. The Blackhawks gave a good effort, but yeah, there's just a class difference involved. So the Panthers gave it their best shot, but ultimately the Blackhawks are victorious. Number 6, yeah, he really had to keep it in his zone. He did not do it. But hey, I think if you're a Blackhawks fan, you're not totally discouraged by that. You have to be at least a little encouraged by some of what went on. So, yeah, that as well. Yeah, I mean, honestly, watching this game, their forward group looks much improved, but it's their defense is really, really, it's going to be rough for them, maybe. Throwing the Rats out on the ice. Somewhere Patrick Waugh is, like, angry. But, God, it must be fun to play for Florida. That's all I can say. Well, that'll do it for this one. Probably on the Sabres stream, I'll stick around for a little bit afterwards to talk about the game and give some impressions or thoughts. But as this is not a Sabres game. Dear Monarchy, hey man. How you doing? Thanks for stopping by. We just watched Florida give it their best shot. Chicago give it their best shot, but couldn't pull up very much for us there. But thanks for stopping by, dear. Or should I call you Monarchy? Maybe Monarchy? I don't know. It's all good. All right. Take care, Mossy. Thanks for joining. You were a good bro tonight. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you very much, dear. I really appreciate that comment. It's early days still. I'll try to keep putting up some good commentary for y'all. But yeah. Thanks. I'm looking forward. We're going to be back here for another stream for the Sabres opener, obviously. So looking forward to hopefully hanging out with y'all again. Thank y'all for stopping in. I'm actually gonna end this here and get off. But yeah, thanks for all the comments and the love on the channel so far, and thanks for stopping even for a short time. It was great to see y'all. And yeah, I don't know how to end this properly, so I'll just end it as always. So as always, go Sabres.